Series 2, Episode 14 of the Passionate Pioneer podcast with today's guest, NUR HASHMI, your LinkedIn and sales success coach. Hi, NUR.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Yes, I love every week I've got someone new. It's so exciting, and I can't wait to hear your story. But you know me, I'm Beth. You'll know me as the Passionate Pioneer. Let's repeat my motto together: empowered women, empowered lives. And this podcast is your doorway to spiritual freedom, passion, clarity, and confidence. So let me introduce my guest, NUR. So NUR is your LinkedIn and sales success coach. She has turned her struggles into your success. Once battling a traumatic relationship, single parenthood, and anxiety, she found her power in coaching and high-ticket sales. Now she helps women leverage LinkedIn and unlock their sales potential, generating multiple seven figures for her clients. Her passion is to empower you with this motto: we are worthy, we are enough, let's rise together. God, I love that. What a powerful motto that is, NUR.
Yes, I've lived it. So
yeah,
I live by it every day now.
Yeah, it's like mine, you know. I've got empowered women, empowered lives. It's just, I love empowering women, and this podcast is one of the ways that I can do that and support more women, you know, by listening to your story and empowering you to tell your story, because women have got such fascinating stories of how they overcame challenges, what they've done in their life. And younger women, they're looking to us for that motivation and that spark, you know, to help them. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. And that's what we need to do, you know, lend a hand. If my story can help even one person make that small change and, you know, change the trajectory of how they're doing things in their life, I've done my service, right? I've served.
Exactly. So, even if we can empower one woman today,
one woman,
we've done our job, right?
Yeah, it's a
that woman will go on to empower herself, and it has a knock-on effect, and then therefore other women will, you know, be empowered, and a domino effect occurs, right?
Yeah, I totally believe in that.
Absolutely. So let's start your story today. So tell me this: you're a LinkedIn coach. How did that happen? Did you always want to pursue this dream, or was it a journey of self-discovery?
It was self-discovery, I'll be honest. I've learned so much over the past few years. I never thought I even had it in me to be a coach. Let it be something what people think as a very dry place. LinkedIn, like, this is only where you go to find jobs. No, but it's been totally a journey of self-discovery. Like, you know, I come from a very different background, like than your usual. I don't know what, you know, your other guests bring onto the table, but I come from a very different background. I'm from Asia. I'm from South Asia, particularly from Pakistan. And we have a very different mindset around how we live our lives and how we, you know, we get married, our parents choose the person for you, and then you're like, okay, I'm stuck for life, kind of a thing.
Right.
So that was my story like 20 years ago. And I did actually end up marrying somebody who was extremely toxic. And, you know, a bit of a gold digger, it turns out. So
right, interesting.
Yeah.
That's your culture. That's the culture, isn't it? Of that, you know, you followed the traditions and the culture of your society and what was expected of you, right?
What's expected of me? It was like, you know, we find you a person, you marry them, and, you know, you settle down, you have children, you have a life, you build your home, and that's an expectation. And I mean, things have changed now. Of course, I'm talking 20 years ago. Things have changed. Women there are more empowered than before comparatively, but this is what I lived. I had a daughter a year in, and just kind of suffered through the toxic relationship for a few years. And then I decided, okay, you know what, I've had enough. divorce was a frowned upon thing.
Right. I was going to say that's another big step then, isn't it? Because divorce is not really, 20 years ago or,
20 years ago.
really.
Yeah. So we're talking like 17 years ago or so.
Right.
Like, okay, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. It's either live with you or die kind of a thing, like either I leave or I just, suffer and eventually die with all problems like anxiety and everything coming up. So I took a choice. I want to live. I want to live for my daughter. I was still in my 20s. I do not want to give this life to my daughter. So I took a really hard decision. And I did what people wouldn't usually do at that time. And I separated, and then I stood around and got through the divorce. It was very traumatic, I'll be honest, because again, the threat of losing my daughter anytime, being blackmailed into stuff like that. And so it was very difficult. What that did to me was give me severe anxiety, and my self-image just took such a tumble. I used to be a very confident person, and then I turned into this wallflower who thought she was not worth anything. Do you think the things you hear, those relationships, the things that pour into your mind, and it's like, you're not worthy, you're worth nothing without you being somebody's wife, or you being you're not worth anything. So I took that seriously. I was like, I can't ever do anything with my life. Education wise, I'm actually an MBA. I have a master's in business administration.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And this is me suffering through this after all my education, after spending time, doing all I was doing. And then that just kind of plays into you, because despite being, no matter how educated you are, how empowered you may be, these things do play into your emotions, right? Been hearing that you're not worth anything, nobody would ever want you after this, or things like that.
It's a familiar story. No, it's a familiar story,
Yeah. So it just played so bad. I just thought, you know what, I just live my life. The only thing I want to do is make sure my daughter has a good life, and that's all I want to do. I had never explored the fact that I could one day use my story to help others. I know it's something that's happened. I've helped so many women, understand that this is not the end all. It is never the end all. I was at that point was like, why is this happening to me? Why is this like, why me? Why can't I have it?
Right. It's a big question, isn't it?
Right.
Why am I going through this? Am I the only one going through this?
Exactly. I mean, like, what would I have done wrong in my life to deserve this?
Right.
Like, you're going with the norm, you're doing everything right, and why me in particular? At that time, what I did not realize that was my story being written. Right. Who I am today?
Yeah, absolutely. Your story makes you who you are. You're not defined by it, but it's part of your story, and it's really important because literally what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's part of your success story, right? Because you've overcome all of that.
Yeah. And for anyone who's listening right now, and if you're going through something where you are feeling that why me right now, just know this. This is your story. One day you look back and you realize all that happened for a reason. So let it play out. Let it play out. Don't stress. Let it play out.
But I love that you, oh, excuse me, because my voice is very dry today because it's very hot and dry in Italy. It hasn't rained for weeks, and I've got the air conditioning going, the fans going, and I'm talking a lot as a coach, obviously, and losing my voice. So excuse me, listeners, if I'm a little bit throaty. But what inspired me was what you said about your daughter. You've obviously become a very good mentor and role model for your daughter, because she would have seen you just suffer and wither away, and you decided, no, I don't want that. I want to be a role model for her.
Absolutely. It's like, I have you are not going to live through what I've lived through. You're going to make your own choices. You're going to be your own person, whatever person that you want to be. And she's 19 now. And what a beautiful person she's become. I'm letting her follow her passion. She's very passionate about illustration and animation. So she goes to college for that. She's so good at art. She's beautiful. And the best thing that I've seen her like learn, although yes, she had a tough childhood. It's understandable, like being without a father. I did not remarry for quite a few years. I am happily married now, but that didn't happen for quite a bit. So she lived like that single parenthood kind of a thing. So she's had her share of trauma as well. But what I've seen that on my journey, she has become so hardworking. Her work ethic is just, she's tireless. She will like, okay, that's my goal. I'm going after it. I'm going to finish, even if it means I stay up for 2 days. I don't care. I'll catch up later. Her work ethic's amazing, and she's go-getter. And I love that. And when I look at it, everything I've ever done and all the difficulties I've been through, they're worth it.
But she's following, who's she following though, right? She's following you. She's following your example, right? You lead by example.
Yes, that's
I never say talk about it, just do it. Lead by example, right?
Exactly.
And so she's seen you in action. She's seen what you've done and the things that you've overcome.
Yes.
To give her this better life.
Yes, absolutely. She knows that, and she says that, and she appreciates it. And that, as a mother, that's everything. That's my payback.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, okay. So on your journey of discovery, because no, I didn't think I was going to be a coach either. So it's a journey of discovery for us all. Life is like that, isn't it? Life is just that journey. But there are always people that come into your life that help and support, role models, mentors, support networks. So who inspired you on this journey? How important were they?
Oh my God. The one person I can think of who was that, I was extremely lucky. That's my husband now. He empowered me in ways that I did not know was possible. He took his time. It wasn't like, he knew that I was so resistant. I was just like kind of living my life, and he knew that I was capable of more, but he also knew that I had this strong resistance towards, okay, I underlying thought behind it was like, okay, I can do a lot, but then when it comes to having a career or having some sort of an impact, it's not for me. There's nothing there. It's blank, right? So very slowly, what he'd started doing was that when we were traveling, our car was like literally a podcast studio, you could say. He started making me listen to podcasts, really empowering stuff, started making me listening to ebooks related to like, empowerment, and slowly started working on my mindset. And he would just mentor me. Every time he would see a negative pattern, he would mentor me, change this, this is how we do it, and all of that. So he empowered me to, become who I have become. I'll be very honest. And some days he's like, oh my God, what have I created? Some days he's overwhelmed by, he did not expect me to grow like this, but,
So that's incredible, because you went from one relationship, which was absolutely the diet, right? The worst, to this incredible role model of a human, a man who helped you and empowered you. Because it's not, have to say, I've been very lucky with some men in my life. I've got friends that are men. My father was a great mentor and empowerer. But there's some, but there are the situations like, you had when you were younger, where, men are very dominant, and they want to keep women in their little box, right?
Yes, little box, yes.
So that's quite a story. So that must have felt, you must have freeing, yes.
It's freeing. And the fun fact, he's from the same culture as I am. He's also from Pakistan. He's just made different,
Right.
Yeah.
You're breaking the mold, aren't you? You're both breaking the molds, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, society expectations, cultural, traditional expectations. you know, you're both breaking the mold, or you've broken it.
We've broken it already, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not the traditional. Even he got told off by my brother, and he said, "You're spoiling this woman." I was like, "It's fine." My brother's like, "You're spoiling her." I was like, "Why is she so empowered?" You know. So he's like, "She's fine. She's shining." So I'm good with that.
Yeah, it just says why. Well, why not?
Why not?
Why
Exactly.
not?
Yeah.
Right.
So he's that one person for me in my real life that would, I feel like, you know, if he wasn't there, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know. Yeah, if you're meant to be something, you become that person anyway, but I don't know what that journey would have looked like for me if I did not have that, you know, constant empowerment, and that he was the voice, you know, the voice that either makes you small or makes you big, right? He was the voice that empowered me and made me big. So
what's the story? Let's go into that story. How did you meet him? How did he come into your life as that teacher and mentor?
oh, okay. So I've actually known him like even before I ever got married. I've known him for a very long time. He's been a friend. And he just kind of took on that role when he knew that I was going through a very difficult time, to just kind of like, you know, empower me and say, "You're fine." You know, you sometimes you just need that person to tell you
Yeah.
that, listen, no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Right. So he always had that place where he would like, "You're fine. You're going to figure it out. You'll be okay." So, I mean, of course, I didn't marry him for like quite a while after my divorce and everything. And if I don't know if you,
You've got
you
to
just
heal, haven't you? You've got to have that time to heal yourself, haven't you?
yeah, you have to have that time, right? So he had gone through a relationship breakup as well himself, and we eventually moved to Malaysia. We were talking about that, right? So I live in Malaysia. So
Right.
we eventually moved out here. This was 2012, and that's where we started our life together. So I've known him. He's been there. He's been that, you know, person who just kind of like is always that voice for you. It's like, you'll be okay, you know. So but then it took actively becoming a part of my life, you know, becoming a father for my daughter was about 12 years ago.
Right.
So yeah.
So what was so I guess that was kind of the leaving your first marriage, I suppose, was the biggest leap of faith in terms of your personal. But what about the business? What was the biggest leap of faith you took for the business with being the LinkedIn expert? What made you go in that direction?
Yeah. So my journey is not that simple. My journey is like, you know, up and down.
As it is. Mine's been like that too. Everyone I speak to is like this.
Yeah, well, it took me a while to even figure out what I wanted to do, I'll be honest. So mine, before LinkedIn, mine was more sales based, right? Again, when we moved here, we had started a business here as we had a bed and breakfast like for backpackers, because Malaysia is, you know, people come here from all over the world as backpackers.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite a place here, like just like Thailand is. So we had a bed and breakfast, you know, a backpackers hostel kind of a thing. We ran it for 5 years. As soon as I came here, he kind of like went back into corporate. He's a CPA. He went back to corporate and he's like, "You can run the business. I'm just going to go back to my full-time thing." And I ran the business for him for 5 years. And then it was, my daughter was already like kind of close to her teens, and I just needed to be around her more. So, you know, that story we all have of like, I need to be at home. I need to do something that.
Right. Free time and freedom, isn't it?
Exactly. So you all start there. So for me, it was like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I made him sell the business. I said, "I can't do this anymore because I cannot juggle that. And I cannot, you know, I need to be around my daughter."
Right.
So we sold the business 2 months. All I did was, "I'm bored, I'm depressed, I'm bored, I'm depressed." So he's like, "Figure something out."
Right.
So he actually made me attend this workshop. We used to do live events then. So he made me attend a workshop and he said, go learn what online marketing is, right? I'll be honest, I canceled 2 times and he sent me to the 3rd one. So he's like, you go, figure it out. We'll find something new to do. So I went and my mind changed. Like, that's where I learned more about online marketing, that there was the whole online world. Before that, I was even afraid of using Facebook, I'll be honest. Facebook was only like leaving my status and I ate this kind of a thing. And, you know, I visited that place. I didn't even know how to run ads, and our business took a hit because of that, because I didn't know how to promote anything online. And so my eyes kind of got open to the online world there. Lo and behold, I make him invest in my education. So I was like, you got to spend money. It's like, I want to do this. I finally like felt like, okay, this is something I want to do. And I asked him to buy me a course. There was a program. It was an affiliate marketing kind of a thing. Got involved with that. One thing led to another. Once I started like doing that, promoting stuff online, I kind of got pulled into coaching. It's like, okay, you're doing this business. You now know how to do Facebook ads and you know how to do all of this kind of stuff. Would you be open to talking to people about it? It was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I be? So I kind of got pulled into that. And when I started having those conversations, I think it was like 5 conversations in, it's like, oh my God, I love doing this. This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to be talking to people for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right? So it was an accident.
Kind of how, yeah, it's kind of how I feel about this podcast actually. And my main passion program called Live Your Passion. It's it's just fabulous to be able to support in any way. And the podcast, as I said, it just gives, you know, the stories empowers women to tell their story, because there's, you know, unless you're talking to your clients, there's not many people that really hear your story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You need that platform. You need somewhere, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I used to be very shy about sharing my story. I'll be very honest. I used to be, but then, you know, I have this, you have this hanging, you know, lingering shame for what you've been through and all this, never your fault. I mean, it's not your fault. And then you still think it's your fault. There's lingering shame and guilt. But what this did empower me was like, okay, hey, listen, you're fine. It's no big deal.
Right.
It is no big deal what you like, you know, what happened. It wasn't your fault, right? It does not mean you're a bad person for that to happen to you. So you're okay.
Just part of life's experiences, you know, we just have experiences and they just shape and mold us and sometimes push us in a new direction that we're meant to be going anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But again, that's, you know, it is owning your story. Because again, it's the empowering, it's freeing and empowering, isn't it? To you know, nobody can say, oh, well, you know, there's no secrets. It's just like, yeah, that's not a secret. Yeah, I did that. I did that. No.
Yeah, exactly. I own it now. Like, I'm proud about it. And I still get like some people, when they ask me something, a question I get asked is like, why don't you have any more children? I own that as well. It's like, okay, I tried, didn't happen. So, you know, and they ask me why my kids are growing. If I've been married 12 years, why is my kid, you know? So the people, sometimes their math isn't math and they ask me weird questions.
Right.
I'm happy to share, like, I'm a blended family and this is what my life is. And so, you know, now I just own it. I'm like,
but that's empowering, and it's empowering for other women to hear that, because they need to hear that. You know, it's not, you don't need to be ashamed just because you haven't had children, or you've had one child, or you've had a marriage that didn't work, or you had parents that, you know, didn't let you follow your passion when you were, or whatever it is, you know,
whatever it is,
whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You know, you know, it's empowering to hear other women have had that experience and they've got through it. Right.
Yes, it's okay. And you'll get through it too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. As long as you don't succumb to it. Do not succumb to it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, you're allowed to kind of, you know, don't sit in the shit, as one of my coaches said, right? You're allowed to, you know, it feels really warm and comfortable there, doesn't it? But don't sit in it too long, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, you don't want to. The germs, remember the germs.
You remember the germs, yeah, it is after a while.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no.
So
Mhm.
let me ask, have you I know that you've in your personal life you've made some sacrifices. So again, with the going into the coaching, leaving the business, selling the business, and then your husband motivating you again to do something. How did you feel about that, the sacrifices that you made along the way? Because you had to get out of your comfort zone, I imagine.
Oh, yes. My comfort zone, my, physical sacrifices, I would say, more than anything else. Because again, I live in Malaysia, right? Which means that from the US, any given time, I'm either 12 to 13 to 14 hours ahead, right? So, and I know the business world, the business, all of that, all the coaching stuff mostly is happening in the US, in the UK, in Europe, right? So I was always working with a very different time zone. All my clients have always ever been in that side of the world as well. So for me, physical sacrifice has been the main thing and something I
Right.
still do and happily do. And people ask me when they find out it's like 4 a.m. and for me at a certain time, it's like, how are you so chipper? Like, so it's become a lifestyle for me, but it is a sacrifice. I do
Right.
feel I had to adjust. And some days I still feel the effects because of prolonged like staying up at night and then my whole circadian rhythm like getting messed up. I actually went into very deep depression as well. I've struggled with burnout as well. That has happened. I didn't take care of myself enough.
Yeah.
Right. So it was because when I get focused on a goal, I'm gonna do whatever I need to.
That sounds familiar.
If I need to stay up for 3 days and sleep for 2 hours per day, I'm gonna do that. I've done all of it. I've done all of it to the point that I just one day just fainted from exhaustion in the middle of a conference. So I've done that, all of it.
Right.
But physically, I think my sacrifices have been much more than anything else.
Yeah, that's a big one. Burnout. I think everyone I speak to has experienced burnout.
Yeah.
Many of the women that come to me, my clients, they're the same, right? But the time zone, I understand that it's funny because I like to work later. I like the mornings to myself and I like to work later, which actually works because I'm in Italy. So UK is behind. And then my clients in America, it's the morning for them. And actually, most people prefer kind of morning, late morning. I prefer late afternoon. So it kind of works for me. So
yeah.
I don't know whether I've looked out or that's my schedule. That's the way I plan it, right? That's the way I like it.
My workday starts at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So.
Right. Okay. So you start much later. You've got all day to yourself.
Yeah, this is pretty much I sleep. I have to sleep in then, So if when people ask me, it's like, how do you manage? Like, I'm just a vampire. I live the vampire lifestyle. Don't worry about it.
So how do you do that? So let's talk then about that self-care.
Yeah.
So how do you take care of yourself and motivate yourself when working at night, you're sleeping in the day, you're a vampire?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't have done it without, of course, support of my husband, right? He is like, okay, I'm holding the fort, you go to sleep. So he literally just kind of takes over. We both work from home now. About 4 years ago, I was, successfully able to retire him as well. So he works from home. He has his own program. He's actually an Amazon coach, an Amazon FBA coach. So
Nice.
so he's built himself in that as well. And I coach him. So isn't that the fun part?
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. So he works from home. He likes to work during the day, right? So his thing, he kind of holds the fort while I'm sleeping. My self-care, I'll be very honest, I'm very extroverted. So for me, the best thing for me is like meeting friends. That's my self-care. that every week I have a day where I am going to, I don't care if I've slept 2 hours, I don't care how rested I am or how hectic my schedule is, I have time set with a girl's date kind of a
Nice.
thing where I'm just hanging out with my friends. We don't, if it's at somebody's house, if it's outside, I have that unwind time. And I do strictly close off my calendar for the weekends. I take my time off. I spend time with my family.
Right.
I do take frequent vacations. I mean, Malaysia's beautiful.
Right.
The
Same as
nearest-
Italy, right? Italy, you could go
Yes.
anywhere. It's beautiful,
So it's
right?
easy to take vacations.
Yeah.
So I take vacations frequently, just switch off for 2 days and just disappear kind of a thing. And so, I mean, I do quite a bit in terms of self-care, but for me, it's like emotional care more than anything else.
And it's, you know, there's no black and white. There's no this
There's
works
not.
and this doesn't. Anything that you want to do to take care of yourself is self-care. You know, if you want to take an hour and read a book, you want to go for a walk, you want to take a bath, you know,
Yes.
you want to go away for a few days, right? You want to go and eat ice cream, whatever it is, that's all self-care,
Yes.
right? It's just put you on your schedule. That's what I always say. Put you. Where are you on?
100%.
You've got this very busy schedule. Where are you?
Yeah. And a fun fact, I have to watch a movie in the cinema every week. That's my fun.
That's really funny because I don't like the cinema, but I have a very
I
big
love the
screen
cinema.
TV at home where
Yeah.
because I don't like the cinema, right? I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
enjoy
I
sitting
love
with
the
other people.
cinema. Yeah, I have to go watch a movie every week if there's none
But that's
playing.
great.
We really get pissed off. I was like, "Ugh, why is there no movie playing?" And I love to play Candy Crush.
Oh,
So-
is that your secret thing? Is it you like to play candy?
I love to make candy. That's me time. It's like I can sit there mindlessly and let go of all my worries and I just crush candies. And, you know, my husband is like, tell people what level you are, you know, and they'll be surprised. So for anyone who's listening, I'm 8,000 something on Candy
Oh,
Crush.
right. Okay. I do actually learning Italian. So I do Duolingo. I think I'm almost a year every day. Every day I've been learning.
Oh,
Every day I
yeah.
learn a little more. But actually I also I prefer really quiet time. And and I've got one of those adult coloring books.
Oh, wow.
And I
Okay.
just sit and I just clear my mind and I'm like, oh, I'll just color all these little bits red and this bit here. And then I'll go for yellow here. And it's just,
It's
you know, and I'm
amazing.
just concentrating on the colors. And before you know it, I'm like, wow, it's really
You have a
beautiful.
design. That is amazing, you know, because
Yeah.
again, everybody's gonna have their own thing.
Exactly.
Like having you know what calms you down, I would have an anxiety attack trying to do that. I'm not kidding. I've tried.
And I would have an anxiety like going to the cinema. I'd be like, you'd have to drag me in because kicking and screaming.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is too much detail. I can't do this. So yeah, I've been there, done that, but no, I can't. It's just not my thing. But here's the thing, it's amazing, isn't it? Because everybody has that thing. So own it, enjoy it. Give yourself time and space to do whatever you want to, right? You deserve it. You're working for it, right? You're working hard. You deserve that break for yourself.
Absolutely. That is funny though. We've got completely the opposite. But then I live on a mountain, right? So I'm surrounded by insects, little animals, green trees, land,
Wow.
mountain views. I don't know neighbors. Well, it's about 5 minutes walk down the road is my first neighbor.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
I really like the silence. So you can see
Yes.
I'd be kicking and screaming going into that cinema. Luckily, my town does not have a cinema. So
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have one here.
you wouldn't like it here. No, you wouldn't like it at all.
Yeah, I've always thought I'm a mountain person, but then I'm not. It turns out I am.
Yeah.
I love the mountains, but sometimes because it's too quiet for me. For me, the soothing sound is the ocean. So I think I'm a beach person, although I don't like sitting in the sun, but I could just sit there and for
That's a bit
hours and listen.
contrary, isn't it?
Isn't it? Isn't it? I could, I wouldn't.
I like the water and I love the sun, but I'm the same. I don't like the beach. I don't like the sand because it just gets everywhere and it's just too messy for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I just like to stay at the distance, out in the shade, and listen to the sound of water.
Yeah.
That's what I feel, it just energizes me. I feel energized near water.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've learned after. I
Yeah,
met
funnily enough, I was talking about this with who was I talking to the other day? One of the ladies in my community, I think. And I was saying that at the moment, because it's summer, every Wednesday I go to the beach. And this week the water wasn't very good. It wasn't very clear. It was a bit murky. But last week I was in the water like 4 hours. I just stayed in the water and I was lying like starfish on the water.
Oh wow.
And meditating, because the water magnifies everything, right? Water has memory and it
Really? I did
magnetizes
not know
everything.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a Japanese scientist that did an experiment with water. Yeah, if you look into it, there's water has a lot of memory, but it's amazing because it just amplifies your energy. So I was just lying in there with my head right back and my ears in the water, so I didn't hear anything, and I was just meditating. And then I'd get up and then I'd have a little swim and I'd go around and then I'd go back again and meditate, and it was just really lovely. But then you have to walk, I have to go back to my umbrella and I have to walk through the sand, and I'm like, oh, it's just so dirty and horrible.
So here's another fun fact.
Such a princess, really, you know.
I don't know how to swim. I never get into the water. I'm dead afraid of the water. The only thing I like about the water is looking at it and listening to it. So that's my reason. Yeah, I don't know how to swim. I'm so scared of it.
Oh gosh. Oh, well, that's something maybe that you want to overcome, do you? Or
Yes,
do you
my
not
husband's
really?
been, again, my husband seems like a theme, but yeah, he's been telling us like, you know what, we should learn how to swim. I'm like, we live in Malaysia, come on, for God's sake, we need to learn how to swim.
Right.
So we've been looking to challenge ourselves, like, and
Good.
find time to start learning, because I'm so
Well, you just do everything. You just do it slowly, like you do everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Just like you do everything. Yeah.
So I wonder why. I wonder where that fear comes from. Is it a society thing in India? Maybe do they like the water? Do they not like the water?
I don't know. I grew up in a city where, like, the only water was a river really far away. So it wasn't the thing. It wasn't even a cultural thing, learning how to swim. So because again, there's no need, right? So people who live near bigger bodies of water would know how to, because that's something they're going to need to deal with. But because we grew up in more of like, there was no mountains, nothing, it was just plains. So we never had that need to learn to swim. And
so now it's just something new, isn't it? What can we do now? Let's learn to swim. All right then.
Let's learn how to swim. Yes.
So the next question I have for you are, what are some things that you're still learning about yourself and your goals?
That's interesting. Well, I'm still learning about myself.
I need to swim.
I need to swim, first thing. Yes, I need to learn how to swim. Every time I think that, I can't do this, what I'm learning about myself is like, I have the power to turn things around for myself, and all I have to do is change the narrative. I'm really big, and I don't know, everybody has their own set of beliefs, right? I am a huge believer of manifestation. I am very huge on that. And I know for a fact that when I sit down and I really set a goal in my mind, things just start happening for me, right? Yeah, they do. And that's something I'm learning every day. And I keep forgetting every few months. And I just kind of go spiral down, and then I find my way back up. And it was like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. And then I just get back on my goals. So what I'm learning to recognize, and what I'm still learning about myself, is just that, you know what, you're going to have your moments. You're going to have those bad moments where you're just give yourself a day to spiral down, but then pick yourself back up. Have some tools for yourself that
Right.
you know that today I'm just going to throw a tantrum. Be okay throwing tantrums. I throw tantrums. So I just, do that. And then
Yeah.
tomorrow I'm going to pick it back up again, and I'm going to go back to who I actually am. And I'm learning to hold on to those tools and using them more and more to, make sure that I don't stay in that spiral for more than 24 hours.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't sit in the shit.
The shit. Exactly. So I'm learning that about myself, and I'll be honest, and I don't mean it in like a proud other, the pride kind of a way, but I'm amazed by, every time I achieve something further, like bigger, I'm in awe and I'm amazed. I was like, I did this, oh wow, I did this. So I'm just, an amazing, and it's okay to be amazed by yourself. It's okay to own it and have that moment of gratitude and be like, okay, I've come so far.
Right.
Just in that. And again, I don't know who this is going to help. Just be grateful for where you are and just you're alive. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
You have the chance.
Just be grateful. I like that. Just be grateful. I think Oprah said every morning she wakes up, she just says thank you. And I do the same. And I know lots of other entrepreneurs and especially coaches that teach that as well. Gratitude is everything. It's not just about your strategy and your planning and vision boards, because I was going to ask you, do you use a vision board for your goals? Because that's something that I do and I teach with my clients. And it greatly helps to get some clarity and for them to see their things, but the energetics behind it is the most important thing.
Exactly. So for me, when I think about a vision board, I'm like, where am I going to find the magazines to cut up is kind of a challenge. But jokes apart, I know like envisioning what you want is the key. It's the key thing.
It's the feelings.
It is. And you just have to put it out there and forget about how it is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that is something I learned last year, I'll be honest.
Okay.
And so this is something I learned literally last year. It's like, if you question how it's going to happen, you disturb the energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you interfere.
You interfere. You do not interfere, right? So you send it out there with absolute belief. It's going to figure itself out. It's going to come back to you. It is going to happen. Put it out there with that trust. And anyone who's listening, trust us on this. Try it out. Even the smallest thing, meaning like I want ice cream kind of a fish we put out there. You want to put out anything, just put it out there. Then don't worry about how it's going to happen. That's not our problem. That is not our problem. It's, whatever your belief is in the higher power, you don't believe in that.
That's a society expectation, isn't it? How are you going to do that? How are you going to get there? How are you going to achieve that?
Yeah,
how are you going to buy that? How are you going to... I don't know. I've no idea.
I have no idea. That's above my pay grade. That's not
it's above my pay grade.
Yeah, I'm not gonna figure it out. I know I just want it and it's gonna happen. That's it. That's the belief you put out there. I promise you it's gonna happen. I promise you that. And that's something I've learned very recently, that hey, that's how you get what you want to get.
So what's the most unexpected benefit you've gained from pursuing this journey we call life?
Unexpected benefit?
Yes.
Meeting new people, having beautiful conversations.
Like this one?
Like this one. And then people coming back to you. I've had people come back to me even like 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years later. And it's like, do you remember saying that to me? Like, I don't, but okay. It's like, that changed my life. If somebody tells you that what you said one fine day to them to help them get empowered, it changed the trajectory. I have a friend, when I was starting this business, she was watching me, right? She was watching me build myself and work so hard and everything. And she said, I've like had you at the back of my mind throughout this, that if she can do it, I can do it too, right? And she actually has built her business ground up. She's more into nutrition coaching and fitness coaching, but she has literally built her business. And every time I talked to her, it's like, you know, this has happened because of you. And I was like, thanks. So, and I didn't coach her. I didn't coach her. I just gave her like a nugget here, nugget there.
Right.
But what I did do was like, you know, just watching me, she felt empowered that, okay, anyone can do this. I can
Lead
do
by
this.
example.
Yeah.
Right? We're
So,
full circle to the beginning of our chat today, was lead by example, right?
lead by example. So I think that the most beautiful gift I've gotten is like, you know, the impact I've been able to have, the conversations I've been able to have, and, you know, helping someone, be it business, be it starting a new business. LinkedIn is all about starting a business, but, you know, sales is all about, you know, your financial freedom as well. So it's all of that. May it be just that, or just something that you said that empowered someone to become better, even 1 degree. To me, that's the most incredible gift.
Fantastic. So here's let's finish the interview with questions I ask all my guests. What one piece of advice do you wish you'd gotten earlier on your journey?
You are capable of whatever you believe you're capable of. So believe big. Know that you're capable of really big things and really great things. I wish somebody told me earlier. I had to find it out on my own. But I, you know, just having this, and you know what I said, you know, the motto you repeated, that you are enough.
Yeah.
I wish somebody told me that way before, where I spent so many years. I was in clinical depression and everything, but I wish somebody told me, hey, listen, you're enough. And I want to tell everyone who's listening that you are worthy of your dreams being as big as you want them to be. You're worthy of getting them. And yeah, you are enough.
So what do you hope your story will inspire in other women who are listening? Probably exactly that.
Exactly that.
You are enough.
Yes.
You are worthy.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, a million thanks to NUR HASHMI for joining me today. Thanks to our audience for hanging out with us. We hope you find it inspiring and empowering. And for more information on either of us, you can find all the contact details below. So from NUR and from myself,
Bye.
bye. Ciao, as we would say in Italy.
Ciao.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.